Let me tell you the story why you never mess with a boiler tech on a ship that can bench 500 pounds. Also in 9533 Training Consulting. I'm going to talk to you about that time when, I decided to mess with our boiler tech who could bench 500 pounds on my ship. The guy was huge. A boiler tech, a BT, they work on the boilers. We had boilers on our ship. Everybody has to work on the mess decks for 3 months when they get to a ship. And, I was working on the mess decks. Now, if you remember, I was skinny when I got into the Navy. I was tiny. I didn't weigh very much. On the mess decks where people eat, there is a mess decks master at arms. And our master at arms was a BT1 Lamar. That was his name. Huge dude. Super nice, but he was slow. And I used to mess with him all the time. So just picture, we're always working on the mess decks. We're there in the morning to set up. We're cleaning up. We're, feeding breakfast, lunch, dinner, sometimes mid-rats, which is the 11 o'clock meal for the people that are working, was it the graveyard shift or what was it called? It was called midwatch. Usually engineers and whatnot that are down there manning the boiler. But I used to always mess with him, and he was slow, so he kind of just shuffle his feet, and he would just everywhere he went. And I remember every time, he'd be messing around and we'd be screwing with him, we'd run up behind him and kind of like, I don't know if we were like hit him in the back of the head or smack him, and he'd turn around and he'd only take a couple steps like a giant rhino. He would just take a couple steps like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you also. I told you not to mess with me. You were like, BT1, you're too slow. You're too slow. And be flying around. He'd take a couple steps, and of course, he couldn't get to you. What I didn't know is about a week later, 2 weeks later, he didn't forget. Yeah, BT1, he didn't forget. So we're out there, I think it was like lunch or dinner one of the times, and people eat and they get up and we wipe down the tables and whatnot, and it's the crew's eating. All of a sudden I'm cleaning a table and I didn't know he came up behind me. And he took his giant, massive vice grip freaking claw and grabbed my neck. And I swear to God, I screamed the highest pitch scream. Just, ah! And he grabbed me and I thought he would let me go. I couldn't break his grip. I think he almost had my whole neck. His hand was massive. And he proceeded to push me to the floor. He followed me down. And I'm just like screaming, BT1, let me go. He's like, I told you to stop messing with me. Picture like Mr. T, right? That voice. Told you to stop messing with me. I told you I'd get you. Oh, I told you, I told you I was gonna get you. And he pinned me to the floor, got on me, put his weight on me. He must have weighed like 300 at least, and pinned me to the floor. And I'm trying to move, and I'm just collapsing like a wet house of cards, just a wet noodle, just moist toilet paper, just stuck on the ground. People are eating and they're looking around. I'm underneath someone's feet as they're eating because he just pinned right there under the table. Just bam! Told you to stop messing with me. You messed with me. I told you I was going to get you. I think he might have just punched me in the side or the gut. I don't remember, but he got me good. And I'm squirming, fighting. People think it's hilarious. Oh yeah. And finally he let me go. He jumped up. He didn't jump up fast because remember BT1 was slow. He gets up. I was like, I'm still laying there in pain. Neck is hurting me. Sides hurting me. I think he got me in the ribs. Ribs are hurting me. I'm just hurting. I'm just laying on the ground. All this food and sticky floor. I didn't care. I was just like, screw it. I'm just here now. And he shuffles off. Everyone's looking at him. Everyone got out of his way. Once again, this dude was the biggest guy in the ship. And I get up. They're all laughing. Everyone's laughing at me. I'm like, damn. The other people that work on the mess decks, they're like, man, you didn't see BT1 behind you. I was like, why didn't you warn me? He's like, oh man, he came out of nowhere. We didn't even see him. He was like a stealthy predator. He just jumped out of the bushes and just all of a sudden he had you. And they weren't going to intervene because I don't think all of us, there's probably 10 people working the mess decks. I don't think all of us together could have took him on. I don't think we could. Yeah, it happened. It did, and we moved on. I don't think I messed with him again. I'm pretty sure I didn't. Think about it? No, I didn't. But that is why you do not mess with a BT1 on your ship that can bench press 500 pounds when you might have been able to bench press 80. Maybe. I don't remember. Probably 80. I'm guessing. But as always, on time, on target, never quit. Booyah.